G'day and welcome to another slow and steady video here on the channel. My name is Katie and today is Trucking Thursday, back with our, I believe, final episode of the long drive south. Now I'm just going to whip to my stopwatch because we do this in real time. Much like the on the road, of course we did that. I think it was 42 and 41, which is an hour and 23 minutes to go from the north of on the road all the way to the south, and we're doing the very same here on Alaska. So if we were to take a look at the map, we started up in the northern part, we started up in Prudhoe Bay, and in part one we travelled all the way down and we took a break in Fairbanks, and today we're travelling through the Delta Junction all the way down to Paxton and then down to Valdez, and that will be the north to south drive, and to see how long that takes in real time. So let's jump in our truck. Here we are. Truck is all fueled and ready to go. We've had something to eat, we've had some sleep. All we need to do is jump in. Now, rocking the Thrustmaster T248 today. Yeah, haven't been on the wheel on this game for a little while. Manual gears, up into third. And can we flick left? No, we can't. We've got to look. So with on the road, of course, you've got on the D-pad, you can look left and right. But with this, we've got to do it manually. So we're turning right out of here. So we'll leave it in third gear. Nice bit of feedback on the wheel, though. In fact, there's quite a lot of feedback on the wheel coming from on the road. Oh, up here. There's a red light there as well. So left at this T-junction, it's all going on. Let's come back down to third. I'm skewy on the junction, but it's okay. Lights are changed and away we go. So yes, we have to move the right stick. But I'll say, steering actually feels a bit nicer on this game than it does on the road. Up a couple of gears, up into fifth. We will get on this main road in a second. You know, this game has, I have a soft spot for this game. Don't get me wrong, it's full of bugs, and you know there's still a lot to be fixed with this game. Another red light here. We're turning right here. Handbrake. Let's come back down to fourth. Handbrake off. Taking a right. I got no trailer on the back, so I'm not too worried about the checking the mirrors. In some instances, this game actually plays really decent on a controller. Everything's really accessible. The only problem with a controller on this game, in my humble opinion, and of course you know what we say about opinions on the channel, opinions are like assholes and every single person has one, but there's a good bit of feedback. But like I said, it does play well on the controller. Turning left here, so I'm going to check that mirror as we come over. A red car. We'll have it. He's backed off. So another set of lights. These are on green. Perhaps we can roll through. No, they've gone red. Goodness me. Let's come down a couple of gears. Down into third. I'm losing my train of thought with all these traffic lights. But I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me here on this Trucking Thursday with our, I reckon this will be the final video of the series this month. Just thought it would be something a bit fun, really, just to, right, he's beeping me. Right, so we'll turn left here. Hopefully get up on that main road. But yeah, the feedback on this wheel is pretty strong, actually. Quite nice. Up in the seventh. And we'll talk about the game, we'll talk about the future of trucking, and we'll have a general little waffle like we normally do here on the channel. So if you're here for that, then that's all good. If you're a subscriber, a big shout out to you. Thank you for being subscribed. And of course being part of the SAS Crew. Do have dreams and aspirations for the channel, so thank you for making it possible, and you know, I really appreciate you here, so thank you. If you're not subscribed, we're only a couple minutes in really, but we do trucks, bikes and horses, and we have a lot of fun really, and yeah, if that's your jam, feel free to hit subscribe. So we've got 400 miles to go. Now there is some POIs around here, points of interest, which is actually quite nice in this game. We're in top gear, so we should be able to settle down in a minute. But we're talking about the controller. Now, let's talk about the controller, and then we'll come back to the POIs. So, the controller works perfectly fine in this game. In fact, with on the road, you will go, you find yourself sort of compensating. Is it over here? Let's just drop a bit of speed down as we come through this construction site. So, with the on the road, you will find that that's quite sensitive. And you'll have to look at some settings online to get like a nice feel. But with this game, it's not too bad actually. The biggest problem, and we spoke about in the last episode, and we won't hark on about it, is that there's no cruise control in this game. So, if you're going to sit down for a 2-hour session, you will have to hold that R2 button for about 2 hours. So that's the biggest flaw that I can see with this game, and this is aside of bugs, because this does have bugs in it, but what was the other thing with points of interest? One of the lovely things about this game is that you do have points of interest around the map. It's a decent sized map, which is what we're doing today. We're going from north to south, and we've already done episode 1. And we're going to let you know in real time what that runs at. So we'll roll this round here. So we've got a stopwatch running as well. And when we get to the end, we'll talk about the time, add it together with the episode 1, and that'll be sort of how long it takes to go from the north to the south. But the points of interest, I think they bring a little something quite nice to the game. It's something that I really love in the original Crew, where you would be driving and you'd pull up at a particular location and you'd be able to read about the history and learn a bit about the world. And this game does have this, in this game. Should we throw some lights on? Is it left on the D-pad? There we go. So 400 miles are going to settle in, but you could look at the dashboard and say, well, the speedo is working. It's a shame that you can't take off individual elements of the, because we've already got the GPS there, bottom left hand corner, and we've also got it as a fixed GPS on this truck. So I would like to be able to remove that on the bottom left hand corner and just sort of take some of this clutter off the screen. But this game still receives somewhat regular updates, but I think it's done now. I don't think you're going to see any new content. Initially when this game was being spoke about, there was talk of like expanding the DLC and expanding the map and bringing new trucks and liveries and loads. But of course they announced there very shortly after. I mean, it put everyone's noses out of joint, didn't it? I know it was more of a sort of like, it was a post for their shareholders and such. There was a lot of controversy around it, and it annoyed me, to be honest. I mean, you just paid out, you've been looking forward to this game. It'd already been on the PC market, and it was coming to console. And, there's a lot of elements in this game that I really do enjoy. I love hooking up the trailer and stuff, And it'd only been out for a couple of months, and they'd already announced that they were working or had funding for the next iteration. And, you sort of pull into question, well, where's all this, aren't we going to enjoy at least a year of constant support and DLC for this game? Looking back on it, it was almost like, let's just make some money out of the console market. But it had a very bumpy launch, and now it's in the best condition it's ever been in. But you will have to come into this game with your bar a little bit low, putting up with some of the inconsistencies. Of course, the graphics as well. The graphics are okay, then, but again, we're just being totally forgiving. So that's the biggest problem with it, really. So we've got 300 miles to go, and initially I thought this map was going to be bigger than on the road. And again, this is just a bit of fun, and please take it with a pinch of salt, because my speed across both games might be different to yours. I got caught on a couple of traffic lights on Tuesday's episode. You might not, so you're gonna have to give or take 5 minutes, But we're currently at 7 minutes in, and just chilling. But having this game on the wheel does feel a little bit better because it's with your right foot. To me, anyway. But I mean, of course, I'm 51 years old, so you might be much younger than me, and it might not bother you as much. Alright, obstacle on road. Just gonna slow up a second. Now, sometimes it will give you a notification, come down a couple of gears, about an obstacle that's nearby, but it's not on the same road. So it might not be on this road at all. But the Prudhoe Bay that we started was really quite nice looking. It was very barren up there, and like I said, I've ploughed over 100 hours into this game. I've certainly had my money's worth out of it, and out of all the truck games, of course, we were talking about on the road being the most affected by Euro Truck. This has elements where it could remain on the channel for a bit more rotation. Now, I think really the biggest game that's going to take this one, knock it off its block, really, is going to be the Truck World Australia for me. Let's come down a couple of gears. The big open roads. So whilst I think I'll be deleting on the road for Euro Truck, I think when Truck World Australia comes out, that will be the time where I put this one to bed, I think. We've done lots of videos on the channel, and we want to keep it a bit fresh as well. Might revisit it if it's had an update or something. But there's part of me, just drop it down a gear for this corner. There's lots of steering to do. It's quite a nice open road. The drop-offs on this game are probably better than on the road. They're a bit more varied, and the drop-offs make a lot of sense to where you're dropping the trailers. And so it's by far a bad game. It's like, this is not a bad game at all. But some people, do struggle with some of the bugs in this game, and if you're driving with a trailer, we've got no trailer on the back at the moment because we're just doing this north to south run. But if you stop at a set of traffic lights, NPCs will drive into the back of your trailer, and still the winter coat bug. Despite what they said with the latest update, there's still a sound bug. I had it the other day where the sound just cut out completely, and you've got to go back to the main menu. But for me, I think, I'm not saying they should, but maybe they could sell this game, and if a team was really passionate about it and wanted to take it on, this Alaskan Road Truckers could, let's slow down, could have like a gold edition or an updated version. This is slow, isn't it? 15 miles an hour. It could even, this is lovely on the wheel, I've got to say. It could even go up into Canada. I know we've got like Alaska and Canada on Euro Truck. Not a Euro Truck, it'd be American Truck, won't it? But you won't have the survival elements and the truck mechanics that you've got on this game. So if they sold the game, and it had a new lick of paint or something, and it had an update, I'd still continue to play it, and I think many others would as well. Like, you know, if it had some TLC and a real passionate developer. I'm not saying that they weren't passionate when they brought out this game. I'm just saying that because there's a lot of goodness here, you know. But I'm just saying that I don't think that the coffin lid should be absolutely closed on this game. I think, you know, I think it does have life in it. I think anybody who plays this will tell you, you know, the promise, not promise, but the you know, the, what word am I looking for? The, no, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It basically means that the opportunities for growth in this game is huge. You know, there is a lot that they could still do to this game. But that's just my opinion. And you know what we say about opinions on the channel, you know? So I don't quite know where we're going so slow. 9 miles an hour. And here we are on the clock. So I do want to get going. So we're literally down to second and third gear. Now I can't really overtake. Got 3 vehicles here. Unless we're on an open road. So here, you know, here's one of the problems, you know, and this is affecting our north to south run, really. So like I said, do take the timings with a pinch of salt. I'm going to go for it. We're on a corner, and that's not good. Oh, we're also coming over a crest as well. But I cannot just, yeah, that was dangerous. But, you know, we can't sit there in that traffic. So, do you see what I mean? Like, you know, that there is inconsistencies in this game, and you're just going to have to take them all with a bit of pinch of salt. And if you don't own this game and you were thinking about getting it, you know, do watch videos and sort of know what you're putting your money down on. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm just saying, like, it, you know, you have to be quite forgiving of it, you know. So just 200 miles to go. So as I was saying, I thought when I come into this little series, I thought, I don't know, I reckon Alaska might have it, you know. But I reckon it might actually cut quite even. I don't reckon there's much between it. You know, there's quite a bit of driving to do here. Of course, we do have seasons. I'm in the fall at the moment. We've come through the spring and summer in top gear. And down, but elevation changes, and of course last time we spoke about the history of that 800-mile pipe, wasn't it, that goes across Alaska. That was quite cool. I quite enjoyed doing that. I do like bringing a little bit of history to things if I can. And if you've checked out the Route 66, down to for another construction site. Yeah, if you have been on the motorbike book, the playlist for the motorbikes, you'll see a Route 66 playthrough. Took probably about 6 or 7 videos, I think. It was again another decent sized map there with the crew, and we will have the I believe the Crew 4 is now in agreement that they're going to start development. Now when that comes out, I do not know. The trouble with some of these games, you know, back when I started gaming, you know, it wouldn't take quite so long. I think even the early Grand Theft Autos came out like every couple of years, and now it's more like every 10 years. So we do wait a long time for these games, and I appreciate that a lot goes into it. Like, I'm not, you know, I understand the reason why they take so long. But from a consumer point of view, we do have to wait for these things. Waiting we are for the SCS boys at the moment, you know, but they're not going to want to release a product that's broken. You know, they're going to want to sort of, you know, test it and make sure it's all working, tickety-boo. And who can blame them, you know? You wouldn't want the bad press for releasing a broken game. Especially a company like that. So I can understand, you know, we just have to be patient, really. So up into ninth gear. Manual gears work really quite nicely on this. Again, they work fine on the controller. I think if you go back on some of my older videos before I got the wheel, you definitely see some manual gears with the controller there. So just 165 miles. I forget what we started with. Was it 365? Something like that. Should grab the stopwatch and see how much we've got left. Just watch that concrete post there on that corner. Down a couple of gears. The 7th. Up into 8th. So you won't actually see any long trucks, you know, like 18-wheelers up on this road. You'll only ever see some cement mixers and things. But, you know, that's more of, I think, of the limitation of the engine, I think. You know, we had popping in trees, and we even had flashing trees as well. 25 miles an hour. So thankfully they sorted out the flashing trees, because they were quite annoying. But looking over there, I did see a fuel tanker by that station, and you know, some of the trailers are pretty varied, and you know, there is, of course, a skill tree to go through as well, so you can pick up a medical license. There's a military license as well. You'll have to forgive me. I am coughing. I think I've had a cold the last couple of days. I've been sneezing, and it's just that time of year where colds are, you know, a little bit more common. But yeah, here we are in 2026 now. So the nights are actually getting a little bit lighter each day, and you know, I gotta admit, I like the longer days. I prefer the longer, the warmer weather. I like wearing my shorts. So, but it has been cold, but not as cold as it used to be when I was a kid. Like when I was a kid, like we used to get proper snow, like a good feet of snow, like 2 feet of snow. But now, you know, we've seen a little dusting of snow. It was probably about half an inch, maybe an inch of snow here on the east coast of the UK, where I live. But that's probably it now. I mean, I don't know. Well, sometimes January, February is cold, so we might see another bit of snow, but nothing like we used to when I was, you know, when I was growing up and that, you know. So we're now under 100 miles, so this hasn't taken that long at all, really. And, you know, we're not going particularly fast. We're not ragging it or nothing. It's just 40 miles an hour. Speed limit's 55. And we're 9th gear. 9 gears to this truck. Like I said, just no cruise control, which is a real shame in my book, really. So this truck will do about 55, but it does sound like it's exceeding all the revs in the world. Well, look at that, 58. But the steering on it feels pretty good. It feels pretty planted, you know. And we want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly with these games. We don't want to come into these games and slate them to pieces. Unless, of course, it is if it's Dutch connection, then we well, you know, if there's nothing good to talk about, there's nothing good to talk about, you know, but there is some good things in here, you know. Down a couple of gears. So you know, we'll certainly acknowledge the good parts. You know, I want to be able to see the good, the bad, and the ugly in these things. A little bit of wildlife there on the left, actually. Yeah, a couple of, I don't know, deer, elk, moose, something like that. But I hope you are well and having a good Thursday if you're watching this on Thursday. And if you are subscribed, thank you for supporting the channel. Really, I do appreciate it. If you're this deep into the video and just I just waffle. I waffle on these videos. I sort of give my thoughts about what's going on, and we talk about the state of play within the trucking genre. We get involved in comments and just have a bit of a chin wag, really. So if that's your jam, you're in the right place. So coming into some sort of town here. Well, forgot just 35. My God, are we here? That hasn't taken long. Let me take a look at the stopwatch. Hold on. So we're now at 23 minutes. That's gone by really, really, really quickly. So looking for a left-hander here. We're going down to we're in Valdez. Let's come down a couple of gears. Is that green one going to come out? Yes, it is. Is this our turning? Yes, it is. Oh, let's drag this around. Now, no lorry on the back, so... not lorry on the back. No trailer to worry about for now. But we will get back to normal trucking as from next week. And we are here. This is the... like I said, the yards are pretty good. They're pretty varied. And as we go through this junction here, we're going to go right down to the sea. Hold on a second. Still saying 21 miles? That's just put us for a shortcut, isn't it? Oh, that's so annoying when it does that. Just check left. Oh my God, see that yellow van? Absolutely stinking it round that corner. Jeez. Okay, so perhaps we aren't here just yet then. 18 miles to go. That's weird how it took us through that yard, isn't it? So left-hander here, going over some sea. Just look for this left-hander. It's here somewhere. Ah, there's... Oh, I have been here before, actually. Yeah, we're not far off now. Let's bring this round. No auto center on here, so you don't use the D-pad to get back to the center. You have to do it all manually. Up a couple of gears, another bit of stutter there. Now, it seems to stutter the frame rate when it saves the game, which, in my opinion, just put a manual save in. Make the player save when they want to, and then that way it wouldn't be an auto save feature, and it would stop that it would stop that stutter there. So here we are, we're at the most southern part of the map here in Valdez. Just going to drive down and see if we can see the sea at all. Big blue buildings there. No, I don't think we can quite see the sea. Of course we can get out though, so let's park it up here a second. Handbrake. And turn the engine off. Lights are off. Right, let's get the... before we go and have a look at the sea, let's bring the map up. So here we are in the bottom port of Valdez. And that is the map. And the time now is... That's 26 minutes. 26 minutes. So we'll add that to the part 1 and get a total. So I'll just do that for you a second. So I've just checked the previous video, and the previous video from Prudhoe Bay down to Fairbanks was 25 minutes from Prudhoe Bay down. And then from Fairbanks all the way down to Valdez was 26 minutes. So you're looking at, what's that? Never was no good at maths. 51 minutes. 51 minutes. So we'd already did on the road. On the road was an hour and 20, and this is 51 minutes. So on the road is the biggest map, But a little fun series, and that is this series done now, The Long Drive South. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for, let's just jump out and see if we can see the sea. Yeah, thank you for joining me on this little series, and we'll be back next week with a trucking game. Can't quite get down to the sea. It's a bit of a shame. But we can hear the seagulls and the night sky there, look. And our beautiful truck. But there you go, that is Alaskan Road Truckers coming in at, what did we say? It's 25 plus, that's 51 minutes, and on the road an hour and 20. If you like the video, smash like on the way out. It's always super appreciated if you're subscribed. A massive shout out to you. Thank you for being part of the SAS crew. If you're not subscribed and you kind of like your trucks, bikes and horses, then maybe this is a channel for you. But until next time, take good care of yourself. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.